All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below, as usual. This video is entitled Don't Fly Too Low. I was on Facebook, saw this video about a guy who's talking about the story of Icarus. And you know, Icarus didn't disobey his father, flew too high to the sun, burnt his wings, crashed and burned, right? But he says, you know, the story was changed. He said, you know, the part of the wings were made with wax. That's why he said don't fly too high, because the wax will melt and you'll fall. But he said hundreds of years ago, the story was don't fly too low, because if you fly near the ocean, the mist will get into the wax and make the wings too heavy and you hit the water. And he was talking about it in this sense where he says, you know, this is why oligarchs, which means the rich, the 1%, created schools to make sure to educate people in a sense where they just were educated enough to fly low, to not try to soar too high. You know, they keep them low and keep their expectations low, so they would not try to strive for anything. And I wanted to talk about that because our society is built in that same way. You know, go to school, get an education, get a good job, fly low. And people don't take risk. And risk and self-confidence and faith in oneself and belief and the idea that you can actually create a plan, follow it through, and it leads you to success is not what they teach in school. They teach you to fly low. They teach you learn these things. Learn this one skill I'll teach you, and then one uber rich person will hire you one day. And they'll pay you to just enough to just get by. And you can accept that. And mind you, nothing's wrong with that. And I know it sounds kind of like a contradiction because, you know, for some people, there are people who don't need to be rich and famous in the world, because most people want to be rich and want to be famous. More so famous than rich, like rich and famous first instead of just rich first and then famous second. It's like, you know, rich because they're famous and then, you know, I just be rich. You know, people don't want to be rich and not known. But the thing about that is you're flying too low. And I noticed this in my life. I've noticed this in friends and families' lives. I've noticed this, you know, people say, you know, the people who can do it, and the people who can't teach. I know that's disrespectful because teachers need to be respected. But I'm saying that to say this. There are plenty of people who told other people that you can't make it because they didn't make it, because they flew too low. They never took that chance to say that they were special. Like, I like something that Ray Lewis said. He said he was bold enough to stand in front of the U, it's Miami, when he was in college. He said he gonna be the greatest player to ever play at Miami. When didn't, you know, and the gall of him at that time. See, now you got to stand on it. Now you got to prove that. Now you got to do it in the weight room. Now you got to do it in the classroom. Now you got to do it on the field in practice. Now you got to do it game time. Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. He told you which round he was going to knock people out in. That's what I'm going to do. See, now I got to add that. Now I have to make that a reality. And see, here's the problem. When you think like that, the world hates you. Floyd Mayweather, the world hates him. You know, Ric Flair. Woo! Yeah, I like Ric Flair. Ravishing Rick Rude, too. That was my guy. You know. But to be the heel or the villain, the world hates you. And I said in this sense, the world hates you because you're willing to walk it how you talk it. And people don't want to see you win because you trying to fly too high. You're not trying to do the status quo. See, you don't want to. You want to be the story of Icarus that the guy was saying, that he was flying too low, and he got heavy, hit the water and drowned basically. You want to be the Icarus that flies too high. You know, because at some point Icarus disobeyed his father and felt like, I could do what I want, even though his father told him, hey, you fly too low, you know, the mist will get you, make these wings heavy, you're going to burn, you're going to crash, bah, bah, bah. You fly too high, you're gonna get too close to the sun, it's going to burn the wax, and then you're going to fall, bah, bah, bah. Now, the thing about it is, it's okay if you fly too low to the ocean if you can swim and if you can see the shore. But if you fly too high, you burn your wings, it's a long way down and you ain't gonna make it. And the thing about it is, people say, you know, reach for the stars, and if you fall, you'll catch the moon or catch a cloud. You still be up there. A lot of us are scared of the altitude. That's why we stay low. As much as we talk about eagles, flying alone, and so on, we got a lot of chickens in the world. We got a lot of chickens who don't fly at all. We're too fat to fly. Got a turkeys, jive turkey. You know, who don't want to. Go on, honey, take a chance. Coming to America reference. That's a problem. And the reason it's a problem is this. Because a lot of the regrets that a lot of adults have is not because they tried to fly too high. It's because they accepted flying too low. They accepted mediocrity. And they're at odds with their soul because they feel like they're way bigger and better than mediocrity. And this is not a financial thing. You know, money, oh, because I took this risk, I made this money. Here's the thing. Some people succeed in attempting to fly high and some people fail. But neither one of those people have regrets. See, people who fly too low, they have regrets. They wish they would have tried. See, the failure isn't in failing itself. The failure is in failure to try. And when you fly too low, you fail to try. Got me pointing my finger at your ass. And this is the fear that a lot of people have. You know, you don't look like what it's supposed to look like. You don't come from the area that it's supposed to come from. You don't fit the mold of what it's supposed to be. Don't worry about all that. Go ahead, try to fly high. Because when you reach for the stars and land on the moon or catch a cloud, that's where you was meant to be, right in the pocket. Not too high, not too low. You were supposed to be where Icarus was supposed to be. Not too high, not too low. Because to fly, you got to get accustomed to the altitude. Your lungs got to get ready. See, pigeons and eagles, I don't think fly at the same altitude. You know, chickens can't get to a pigeon's altitude. You got to get acclimated. The same way you got to get acclimated if you go underwater diving. you gotta float, let your body acclimate a little bit, and then you go lower. And that's how people rise, because if you rise like that, your organs get compressed. Said this before. This is why they put people in a decompressor in a sense. If because you go from deep water to shoot up to the top, they need to slowly compress you back to reality, because you might not make it. And the reason I say this is because at the end of the day, there's so many people who die wishing that they actually didn't live flying so low. And there are more people who fly low than who try to fly high. So if you flying low right now, take a chance. You got nothing to lose. And I firmly believe this. Like, if you're already at the bottom, go for the top. You ain't got shit to lose. You at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? So, we out. Peace.